Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 2 o'clock. Anthony Johnson, again, set to take on Ryan Dark Bader. UFC main event January 30th in Newark, New Jersey, Prudential Center. Kind enough to join us for a couple moments. Anthony, how are you, my friend? I appreciate a couple moments of your time.
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing real well. Let's dive right back into it. Since you came back to the UFC, you've been on a nice little roll, winning 4 of your last 5. And the one thing I've noticed is you have a great stand-up game, a lot of power, but you're ending these bouts quickly. And you got that KO power, aside from the Cormier loss and the fight against Phil Davis, one that you grinded out. We'll talk about that momentarily. Talk a little bit about your training for this upcoming fight. I don't want you to give the whole game plan away, but you think you're going to be able to utilize your stand-up game in this one?
Of course. I truly believe I'll be able to do whatever I want to do. Ryan Bader's tough. He's a worthy opponent. He deserves to be in the position that he's in right now, but that doesn't slow me down in believing that I can do the things that I've been doing and just, continue to be successful at it.
In sports speak, we would say that it wasn't trash talking, but you called him out because you really believe that, hey, if I want to be the best, I want to fight the best. This is the fight that I want. Talk a little bit about that. And there is a fine line of calling a guy out, but there's also a fine line of saying, hey, I just want my respect, my just due. I want an opportunity to fight the best. Is that kind of your mentality with Bader?
Yeah. Like I said, man, Bader's a worthy opponent. He's a great fighter. People get it mixed up between being a good fighter and being a sucky fighter just if they're not entertaining. Bader is known for not having entertaining fights, but he's still an awesome fighter. But, dude, I understand where Ryan Bader's coming from. He felt that, he deserves a title shot, and Dana told him that he would get one. But then, at the same time, I just believe as a athlete, competitor, that if you want to, be number one, next in line for a title shot, you should face the best before you even get to the champion.
Right.
And, Ryan beat my teammate Rashad Evans, and Rashad has been out for 2 years. And that's not Ryan's fault, that the UFC gave him Rashad to fight. But I couldn't, as a man, I just couldn't be happy with beating a guy that's been out basically 2 years and then saying, okay, I deserve a title shot now.
You want a guy at his best. You don't want a guy to come in rusty. You want a guy at his best.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Evans and lost to Bader, but he also said prior to that fight, look, he doesn't perform well under pressure. And do you see some pressure areas? Do you see some weaknesses in Ryan's game that you believe you can force the issue a little bit, maybe catch him unexpectedly? I mean, throughout your career, 25 fights, you have 14 knockouts. So stand-up game or whether shooting him, getting him down to the ground. Do you see any weaknesses in his game?
I see a weakness in his game, of course. Everybody has a weakness. But, hopefully January 30th, he still has those weaknesses and I can capitalize on them.
What did you take away from the Cormier fight and the loss? And what have you done differently from a mental standpoint, a training standpoint to prepare for this fight?
No, I definitely changed the people that I had around me before the fight. Like the week of the fight, I was just, I had 50 people around me that I wasn't used to, and that's dwindled down to the 4 people that I know are definitely my best interest. So that, and just when I fight him, fight somebody like them, I just got to know to stay calm and relax and stuff like that. Just because I knock somebody down doesn't mean that I'm going to automatically finish them. I just learned to stay cool, stay patient.
What do you mean, the guys that come out of the woodwork before a good fight? We got names for those guys. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it's sad whenever it's people that you have in your crew for a while, but then if they want to act an ass, they choose that moment to show out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And act different. I just can't. I can't. You only do that. Get away with that with me one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely switched some things up, and it showed up with my last fight. I had the 4 guys that I needed in my corner, my 4 best friends, and they came out, well, 5, and they stuck by me, and we had a blast, and I won the fight. They kept me focused, and didn't let me get distracted or anything. So I'm going to just keep that going.
Yeah, you're talking about the fight against Manua. Again, a couple minutes. Yeah. Anthony Johnson taking on Ryan Bader, UFC main event January 30th, Newark, New Jersey, Prudential Center. Rich Quinones here. Why have you for a couple moments? Do you look at this fight? Because obviously, if you get to win, potential shot at the winner of Jones and Cormier, which is not signed yet, but a lot of people think it's going to be around April. So, how much pressure do you put in yourself? Really not to perform well, but just to get the W, to get the win against Ryan, and just is there added pressure that you're going to get an opportunity for a title shot down the line?
No, I just take each fight one fight at a time. I don't try and look past my opponents in any type of way at all. So my focus is just on Ryan Bader, and then whatever happens after that happens, win, lose, or draw. So making sure I do what I have to do to win this, and whatever happens after is just going to happen.
What do you think of Jon Jones?
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome. I think he's a good guy overall. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I think the fact that he had these layoffs, they woke up a beast. Think about it. The guy was doing God knows what, and winning. Now think about him being focused and actually giving it his all. He's going to be a dangerous man.
There's some parallels. You manned up to stuff that occurred outside the cage, whether it was proven or not. You manned up. Jon Jones didn't really man up at times, and a lot of people look at him and they don't respect a guy like that. I'm not going to ask your opinion on that in regards, because I'm not going to put you on the spot. What I want to know is
their own opinion. You can't.
No. Hey, listen. I understand that. To each his own. You can't buy into it. You can't read too much into it. But what I wanted to ask you is, when stuff like that happens and you realize who's going to stick in your corner, who's not going to stick in your corner, does that kind of light a spark under your tail to say, okay, if I got to go forward and do this by myself, I'm going to go and do it by myself? Because, look, even with some issues with you cutting weight in your career, it seems as though this is kind of the second arc of your career, and I gather that you appreciate it a lot more.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the truth. Whenever you have a second chance at anything, life, no matter what it is, you kind of, you kick it up to another gear and just buckle down and focus more, and you come back a better person.
Last one for you. What was the split-second initial reaction when you saw Ronda Rousey get knocked out?
I just started screaming. That's all I could do. I just started screaming, "Ooh!" It's real loud. And I was in Arkansas at Twin Peaks doing a UFC viewing party there for the fight, and everybody kept asking me what was my opinion, who was going to win. I was like, Ronda, at first, but that was before weigh-ins too. Once I saw how she was acting at weigh-ins, I was like, she's not the same person, because you've never seen Ronda act the way that she did at weigh-ins.
That's also a great example of, I'm not saying being defeated or having someone in your head, but they always say this. You look at your opponent, you look in their eyes, you can see right away if you have them.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. All of my opponents, I look at them in their eyes to see what they're about. You can tell a lot by looking at anybody, by looking at them in their eyes, and that's why I know when I look at my opponent, if it's going to be an easy fight or it's going to be a tough fight. I can definitely tell them. I can tell whenever they're trying too hard to look tough, and I can tell when they're relaxed.
Well, mostly when they're trying to act too tough and look tough, that means they're scared.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But wait, I want to ask you this real quick. So, when you said your initial reaction, you were screaming. Was it more like are you blank and blank kidding me kind of look, or was it just like, oh no, like?
Yeah, that one. That's the second one. From the beginning though, like, this Holly's footwork was amazing.
Yeah, and she's a boxer.
But Ronda was chasing her so hard.
Yeah, but she also exploited Ronda to show that she's one-dimensional.
Oh, yeah. Well, she took Ronda down. Ronda wasn't expecting that. You know what I'm saying? She was hitting Ronda. She stopped Ronda's. I think Ronda went for an armbar attempt. And Holly just did everything perfect for that fight. If you want to see a fighter that displayed the perfect, game plan, it was Holly.
Listen, it doesn't matter how you slice it or dice it. And I can tell you this, in boxing, when someone gets knocked down in the first round, people don't want rematches. In MMA, it's a lot different because you can see if you can overcome that quickly and actually, whether it's 3-5 or 5-5s in the cage, you have an opportunity in a rematch to kind of make quicker adjustments. Before I let you get out of here, you mentioned second arc of your career and how you got rid of a couple people and, kind of separated yourself. I know a lot of fighters, they're usually driven by family, by their inner circle. You strike me as a guy that's really driven by your family and really not a guy that's just looking for a payday.
Yeah, man, my family is everything to me. I love them to death. They're going to love me the same regardless if I was fighting or, picking up garbage, you know what I'm saying, off the side of the road. They love me no matter what. They support me, and that's all I need.
Well, look, I wish you the best of luck. Enjoyed talking with you. Hopefully we'll get you back on win or lose, and then maybe we'll be previewing you against Jones or either Cormier maybe in April, or I should say in the summertime.
All right, I look forward to it, man.
All right, Dan. Appreciate it, pal. Be good.
Bye-bye.